are back, Mike Check Show, and we got some special guests with us. Who do I have? Who am I sitting next to? Because I'm trying not to look at y'all because I'm starstruck a little bit. I'm trying not to look at you guys. So tell the listeners who is in here.
Well, my name is Mhkeeba Pate.
And this is Brittany Corley.
Who?
Brittany Corley.
I can't.
Can't hear me?
Yeah, no,
okay.
You gotta get up on the mic.
My lips up on it. This is Brittany Corley.
And what do you guys do? What are you guys from? Where y'all from?
I'm from Seattle. Brittany and I danced for the Seattle Seahawks together for quite a few years. 5 years for myself.
And 6 seasons for Brittany.
Really?
Yes, and Mhkeeba came to me with this idea after we basically retired from cheering to start a podcast and just kind of outline all of our crazy stories, experiences, and we're having a great time.
That's cool.
It's been fun.
What made you want to start the podcast? What made you want to get anybody together for it?
This crazy idea came because there were a lot of girls that were in the NFL that started suing their former teams because they were either not paid properly, they were treated poorly. And myself being a former lawyer, I thought, what a great way to bring a lot of these issues to the forefront, because really when you're on a team and you're dancing, there's a kind of a culture of not speaking up about things because it's such a highly coveted spot. And you don't want to complain, you just deal with so much crap that you just take it because you really want to dance that bad. And I thought they need to hear it from us, like what we go through, why we do what we do, despite, some not so ideal situations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what sparked it.
Do you feel like the climate now is conducive to people actually listening versus when you were on the teams? You feel like now is better than when you were on the teams? Like, hey, I can say nothing?
To some degree, I think that we're seeing a tide change because, on the one hand, the 3 women that started these lawsuits against the NFL, they didn't get a lot of support. They were just kind of left out there on Front Street, and everybody had their opinions. They thought that they were putting their teams in jeopardy, where they would almost be like punished for coming forward. And so I think there's still that concern out there, but now that, maybe Me Too, with a lot of women speaking up about what they were going through and realizing you're not alone, I think, frankly, just us starting the podcast, we're like a safe place for people to tell us maybe anonymously what they're going through, and then we can kind of help raise it to the forefront.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there are some situations that you won't ever be able to speak upon? Are there some things that, hey, we can't even, we won't discuss those?
No, it's truth behind the Poms, as we call it. So we'll talk about any and all topics. So we even talked about our strict weight loss requirements. What else did we talk about? Crazy promos we've been on.
Yeah, we leave it all out there. Every time we think we toe the line, I think, because we understand that a lot of people can't speak very freely. So we try to at least use our platform to be able to say the things that they can't. We also are trying to be respectful of the organization that we are a part of, and they've gone through changes. So sometimes you're trying to just toe that line where you're speaking the truth, but not necessarily painting anybody in a bad light. But the truth is the truth, and that's why we call it the truth behind the Poms.
Yeah. Is it? There's probably some good things too that you guys share as well too. It's probably
not all bad.
Not all bad. Not all bad.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like some people be like, well, it's all negative, so I don't want to listen. What do you think as the casual fan, NFL fan? What do you think as a casual female fan or male fan? What do you think if they listen to your podcast? What do you think they would get from it?
People tell us that they love it. We have a lot of fun. I call myself Pinky and she's the brains because, I'm just the comic relief, really. I'm just here so I don't get fined. No. I'm just here to keep it in line. That's what I like to say.
No, but I think we have a variety of fans that listen to our show, and for the guys, I think they really are surprised of all that we go through and that we experience. There's a lot of what do you guys do in the locker room? What do you do when you go to practice? And even what we see on the sidelines, we're paying attention to the game. So from our perspective, we're talking about it all, everything that we see, dreadlocks that are pulled out of people's hair on the sidelines. We see everything. And so the stories that we share, we're just kind of reminiscing on a lot of things, and we're talking about some heavy issues, lately, but we have a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of, you have to listen.
Yeah.
But we have a lot more male listeners than we actually found out that we thought we had, I should say.
Yeah.
And where can people go listen to your podcast?
Well, we're available on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify as well, and then we have everything on our website as well at ProCheerleadingPodcast.com.
Yep.
What's the website again?
ProCheerleadingPodcast.com.
One more time.
ProCheerleadingPodcast.com.
That's right. ProCheerleadingPodcast.com is where you can listen to the podcast. I'm actually going to listen now because I'm actually really interested. What are some of the things that you guys, when you first were starting it, what were some of the things that you were afraid of?
I think all of it, honestly. We didn't have a background in any kind of radio podcast, so it's just such a cool avenue that not a lot of people break into, especially from a cheerleading, more active sports background. So that was really fun. And Mhkeeba's my best friend, so we've known each other for a long time now, and so it was just fun working on it together and to see how it's grown so far. And we haven't even reached the year point. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I think, to start, like you said, Brittany, she had just retired. I had been off the squad for a year already, so I was definitely settled into my distance from the team and willing to talk about whatever. And I think initially we were a little nervous because, again, these are topics about a lot of the secrets of our industry. And so for it to come out because we're talking about it, I think our first few episodes we were really struggling, well, how much do we say or how much do we not say? And so, I mean, we eventually got pretty comfortable with just speaking our truth about it and just, not all of it's pretty, but we still love what we did. And so just being honest about it, and I think that's what our listeners really appreciate about the show.
I think it's dope. It's a dope idea that people, there's some things you don't see. There's some things that you just think, hey, cheerleaders.
Right.
You're like, hey, they probably just go in there or whatnot, and they might have to deal with a little bit, but you don't realize that there's a lot of stuff built up and that go into what you guys do or what you guys did.
For sure. What you see on game day, there's a lot of hours and hard work that goes into putting that product out on the field with our routines, and there's promo events that we do, and everybody's balancing a career or school with the commitment. So it's a lot, but we just wanted to dig in even further with a lot of the details about what it's like when you have somebody looking at your body and telling you how you look and what you need to work on, and just, there's some details in there that's the fun part. I mean, we've covered so many topics, and we interview a lot of key, really reputable choreographers and directors in our space, so they get to know them a little bit better. So it's been really cool.
Do you consider yourself, or did you, when you were doing it, do you consider yourselves, I don't want to say, I mean, it's kind of, do you consider yourself like a sex symbol? Do you feel that way, and how do you feel that? How do you feel now that you're out of it? Was there a big psychological change when you got out of it?
Yeah, Mhkeeba has something that she talks about on the podcast. It's called cheer sex, okay? And she had a lot of it while we were on the field, so you'll have to find out what that's all about. But
really, Brittany? I'm just kidding.
I definitely think it's very empowering, and it's important for women to feel sexy. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that we both felt at our best and our prime when we were on the field. It's just so fun to perform for all those fans and just look and feel your very best.
Yeah, I'm team pro sexy, so I think it's just an expression of how you feel about yourself, your body, your confidence, the music. If we're dancing to it, I'm moved by all of that. So I wasn't bothered by being looked at as a sex symbol, but I know everything that I represent that's outside of that is still going to be part of the conversation. You're going to know I have a brain. You're going to know I have a career. That's all just as open to be observed as my sexuality and my sensual vibes that I'm giving off.
I like that a lot, and I feel like you guys are down to earth. Because when you guys came in, I'm like,
who are these chicks?
I'm like, they're dope, but I'm like, they're so down to earth. You guys are so cool. Usually we'd be like, oh, they got 10,000, they got an agent with them, or they have such and such with them, and be like, yo, these are superstars. But no, you guys are like, hey, what's up? Like,
yeah, I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt.
Yeah. I noticed that too, and I was like, you know what? She has a Pokemon shirt also. She instantly like, and Mhkeeba just walked in and like, hey, what's up?
Oh, I almost barged in.
Yeah.
Like, I own the joint. No, we're really relaxed and chill. I love that we are best friends. It makes it so easy to just talk through, especially not having a background in doing podcasts. But we're like your homies that are just sitting and talking. And then because a lot of the listeners also do pro cheerleading, I think they feel like we're all part of a little community now. Because there's not a lot of people that get to do what we do.
Yeah.
So it just brings everybody together to just kind of sit around and reminisce and talk crap.
Yeah.
At times too.
What was the hardest part about leaving the job?
Wow. There's a lot that's hard about it. I think that I just missed the game day experience, performing. We got to perform like all over the world, show group and just at the fair and what have you. So just performing, dancing feeds your soul for sure.
For me, the decision to retire. I mean, I knew I wanted to do 5 seasons. What was really hard to leave on the table was just, along with what Brittany said, you can't go to a dance class and get the same high that you get from a game. So for me, nothing was good enough. Like nothing compared to the high that you get from being at CenturyLink. And I think because I love football so much, it was hard to see the changes that were happening with the team, and just kind of, I felt like things were going to be moving in a different direction from going to the Super Bowl back to back. But you kind of had that glimmer of hope, like, gosh, if I quit now, am I going to miss seeing some miraculous turnaround? But I think I had some good years, and I left at a good time.
I guess I never thought about that how the team performs affects the cheerleading, the cheerleaders, and how you guys feel about the team. Winning helps, or winning?
Yeah, they won. They went to the Super Bowl twice.
Oh,
We
yeah,
were on the team, so I mean, they kind of need us. If they want to go again.
I take credit for it all the time. I mean, we started in 2011 together as rookies, and so that was definitely, we had
T-Jack.
I was about to say at the helm, and so I mean, we had some tougher seasons. I think what we saw in 2013, unfortunately, we were off the team or weren't on the team at the same time during that year. But I pay a lot of attention to the team, and when you're standing out there in the rain and it's cold and they're not playing that well, I get pissed, because it's like, I can't get out there and do anything. But
You want me to catch the ball or what?
But there are times, but we're all in it together too at the same time. We're rooting for them, good or bad or ugly, but it's always more helpful, especially when those cold games when you're actually playing ball like you want to win.
You're playing I'm from the Midwest, so that's why I stopped playing football, because I was like, it's too cold. It's too cold.
The cold.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But just the snow. Since I started seeing the snow, I played one time, my fingers froze. I was like,
there are times where you question your life choices. I know for me, personally. There have been games where I'm like, the wind's whipping at you, you got the rain coming on you, and just the cold. You're not dressed properly, let's be real, for some of those games. So it gets tough.
Yeah, we're out there the whole time, the
Yeah.
whole 4 hours, and we get there 4 hours beforehand. So it's a full day.
Yes. Very.
Yes.
were there ever times where you just didn't feel like smiling? Where you're out there and you're just like, man, I hate this. Like, I don't like doing this, but I'm going to do it because I'm here.
Cold and wet was my combo, where I had to grin and bear it
And losing.
losing. Well, just when we play crappy, like, it's one thing to lose, if you put your best out there, and I try not to judge, because obviously the guys are putting their bodies on the line every game, every practice, really. But it's just only when it just seemed like they just gave up on themselves or just didn't give a. But I curse. I'm sorry. It's so hard. But that's when I would get frustrated, where a smile might be a little harder to come out of me. But usually when you're dancing, you feel good and you try to forget about it.
I'm like, she's the serious thing.
Yes.
See, this is why she keeps me balanced. I get a little feisty.
Most memorable stadium outside of CenturyLink that you performed in, and the Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. No CenturyLink.
Well, we only do home games, so we don't travel around to other stadiums. Yeah, fortunately.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yep.
But we went to an Oakland game.
Yeah, that was fun.
And that was fun.
That was fun.
They had
Really?
like a club and like a whole party afterwards, like in the stadium. So that was
that makes my top list.
for sure. But the 12s are the best. Like honestly, we have like some of the best fans, and they really stick with the team, good or bad as well. So it makes it easy for us to cheer for the fans as well.
Once again, tell our listeners where to podcast, where to find the podcast, where to listen to it.
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Pro Cheerleading Podcast. We have our website up. It's procheerleadingpodcast.com. Mhkeeba is on Twitter starting fights, so you can find her.
It's Pro Cheer Podcast on Twitter.
Who do you start fights with?
Oh, people who say inappropriate things. Like, we had a Time Magazine article that came out, and there were some comments by dancers that were supporting the premise in the article, and then somebody said something about, like, Sweetie, such and such and such and such, and I just jumped right into the conversation and addressed them. Her name's not Sweetie, you know? And anyway, I get into fights all the time. But I think, you know, with all the attention that, you know, some of these issues have gotten in the press or on social media, it's really disgusting how misogynistic a lot of the comments are and the lack of respect for women. So, you know, I'm up there talking crap a lot about just what we stand for, and they are making a lot of changes in our world that we care about. So I'm pretty active out there.
Yeah, be nice or Kibo can get you in the middle of the night.
I mean, you know, I did draft a letter to the NBA, you know, just, I think a lot of things need to be said, and I know that, you know, there's been hesitation to speak up, but I don't have anything to lose, you know?
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
We're retired.
Yeah.
Who gonna check me, boo?
Exactly.
So you mentioned NBA cheerleaders. You guys have some of those cheerleaders on as well too?
Yeah, we try to cover the whole space of pro cheerleading. So, I mean, believe it or not, hockey has cheerleaders. What teams are left because they are eliminating a lot of the female dance teams. But hockey, we've had NBA dancers and NFL, and then semi-pro as well. We try to cover all pro cheerleading from every angle.
That's dope. That is really dope. And I think it's a good space too, because you're speaking out for some people. Some people might be like, hey, I'm in a horrible situation. This happened, but I can't say it.
Exactly. We get those messages all the time. And we did a Mean Girls episode, and it was really just interesting seeing all the feedback we were getting about people going through similar situations on a team, and you literally are kind of stuck where you can't speak up. But, you know, then there are people who say, we listened to your podcast and raised an issue with the director that was causing a lot of problems, and she got fired. And I was really encouraging her to speak up. I mean, you either miss out on doing what you love because, you know, somebody's in a position of power that's abusing it, or you speak up for yourself and hold your ground. And I think she wrote in the other day. I was pretty pumped for her, you know. But it is nice to be able to use our platform to say things that, again, to give a voice, because we're able to say it plain and really hard-hitting.
Mhkeeba likes to start fights.
I'm not a bully, I promise.
You can tell her, like, she brought her boxing gloves just in case. They're sitting out in the you guys, we don't have video, but they're sitting out there, like, she hit them behind her purse. She tried to hide, like, act like
harmless, I promise.
as she's she's kind of punching the ground or whatnot, and she's like, I'm harmless, don't even.
If you say something, you know, that's questionable, then
right there,
then
ding, ding, ding.
See, no, I'm kidding. It's all love. It's all love.
So tell our listeners once again where they can listen to the podcast and where they can also reach you guys on social media.
Yes. Go to procheerleadingpodcast.com. You'll read our bios, you'll get our blog, and you'll be able to access all of our episodes. Otherwise, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, whatever your favorite listening platform is for podcasts, we're on there. And social media, where are we at?
We're on Instagram, Pro Cheerleading Podcast, Pro Cheer Podcast on Twitter.
We have a Facebook too.
Oh,
we're on there too.
Forgot about that.
I always forget about that. We have a YouTube channel, so we have some video content of being able to go to different events as well and show some performances. So check it out.
I want to see you guys like out there. I want to see. I feel like you keep her. You're like, hey, hold on, and she's like, no, she's being treated wrong. Let's go.
Literally, this last season, Brittany has been like, oh my God, like, what did you do? Because
I love it though. Like, I've learned so much about, like, just cheering and being a feminist and fighting for women who deserve to be fought for.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that was an issue. So Mhkeeba's laying it out there for everybody.
Some things are very important, man. I'm very passionate. I can't help it, but, gotta take up for not the little guy, but this is our profession, and it's been eroding away with them eliminating female dance teams in the NBA, making things co-ed, which is not necessarily a problem, but the way that they've treated these women in the process has been completely, blatantly disrespectful. So I've gotten pretty hot and bothered,
And that's good.
Yeah,
That's
they
good.
need it. I mean, unfortunately, there's not much that they can do or say to address it when you're part of a team. But now that they see that if they don't speak up, you might lose out. I think they're finding their little gumption.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
And that's good. That's what it should be. That's what it should be like. I want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm very appreciative of you guys shedding light because I would never know. And I think it's good. I know our listeners are probably like, I'm going to listen now and kind of see. I want to go back to episodes so I can laugh and be like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
So
said,
the
it's
next
just
episode is, no, I'm just kidding.
No, like you said, it's just her and I. So if you hit us up in any of our social media, one of us is going to respond.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're creepy, no. But for the most part, we handle everything. And so if there's anything you guys want us to cover or talk about, hit us up and we'll do our best.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much. Once again, tell our listeners where they can listen to the podcast at.
Everywhere. Google Podcast, iTunes.
Yes, Spotify. I love listening on Spotify.
Same.
And go to our website, and all the episodes are there. ProCheerleadingPodcast.com.
ProCheerleadingPodcast.com is where you can catch the fighter. And
That's the name of one of our episodes.
Yes.
yeah, y'all should have seen her. And then she has the Pokemon show. She's like, Mhkeeba, just quit. More from the Mike Check show coming up. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming through. Please, anytime you guys want to stop by, you are more than welcome to. We would love to have you on again.
Perfect.
Thank you so
We'll do
much.
that.
Thank you. Mike Check Show. We got more in a little bit. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We have a lot more. KSER 9.7.